There's a growing sense that the next Tomb Raider game, the one Crystal Dynamics has been quietly building for years, is finally coming into focus. Long gone are the early leaks about a sprawling weird Raider Society multiplayer plan that sounded half-baked and overambitious. Instead, the most recent rumors suggest the project has course corrected. It's now being built as a story-driven, open-world action adventure, with Lara Croft very much at its center, not just as a gun for hire, but as an explorer at her peak. According to multiple reports, the game is now focused on Prime Lara in her most powerful, experienced, and confident incarnation. She's no longer the rookie Tomb Raider, but at the height of her career. The story reportedly involves her hunting mythical weapons tied to the Emperor Ashoka, relics that are said to grant tremendous power, perhaps even conquest power, according to leakers. The setting for this next adventure is especially ambitious. Many leaks point to northern India, where a massive natural disaster exposes ancient ruins linked to Emperor Ashoka's lost civilization. These ruins become the battleground for a high-stakes treasure race. Lara isn't the only one after these powerful artifacts. She'll be competing or possibly allying with a shadowy society of raiders, a group of treasure hunters who seem inspired by Lara herself. The society isn't simply a backdrop. Some reports strongly suggest a gameplay feature around recruiting allies, forming teams, and strategically using them to complete missions or go head-to-head with rival raiders. Combat appears to be one of the more refined areas in this reworked vision. Crystal Dynamics is reportedly leaning into non-lethal options, in addition to traditional Tomb Raider firepower. The idea seems to be giving Lara more tactical flexibility, not just kill everything, but to decide when to use force, when to go quiet, and when to rely on your recruits for backup. That, if true, represents a pretty bold move for the franchise, leaning into a more thoughtful, morally complex style of adventuring. The open world itself is shaping up to be beautifully varied. According to leakers, the map will include harsh deserts, rocky cliffs, dense jungles, and even icy mountains. Rumors point to a motorcycle being part of the world traversal loop, offering a more dynamic way to explore than simple running and climbing. It's not just about reaching tombs, it's about discovering the landscape in a way that feels meaningful. On the narrative side, the stakes feel personal. Tracking these Ashokan relics isn't purely about treasure. The mythic weapons reportedly carry ancient power, and the society of raiders may not be as aligned with Lara's goals as they appear. That tension between allies and rivals, between ambition and morality, could drive some very interesting story beats. As for when we might actually see the game, the timing couldn't be more tantalizing. There's really strong chatter that the official reveal could happen at the Game Awards on December 11th. It's a fitting moment, a high-profile stage, and coincidentally, the second season of the Tomb Raider Netflix series is also set to release around that same date. If true, it would be a major signal that Crystal Dynamics is ready to step into its next era. Behind the scenes, the project isn't without its challenges. Crystal Dynamics has reportedly taken multiple rounds of layoffs in 2025, which raises concerns about the studio's capacity and timeline. Amazon Games, in partnership with Crystal, is said to remain committed despite broader shifts, which suggests the publisher is still backing this big reboot. And all of these leaks, if accurate, paint a picture of a Tomb Raider game that's far more thoughtful than what fans expected. This isn't just about old-school tomb raiding, it's about power relics, strategic alliances, high-stakes exploration, and a mature Lara Croft who's not just surviving but competing. The blend of mystical relics rooted in real-world history, Ashoka is not a fictional name, and tactical gameplay choices gives this project a lot of potential to be something special. If Crystal Dynamics and Amazon pull this off, if they deliver a rich open world, smart ally mechanics, real choices, and a deeply personal Lara, this could easily be one of the strongest Tomb Raider games in years. And if the reveal really comes at the Game Awards, this could mark the start of a bold new chapter for the franchise. This is the Tomb Raider reboot a lot of players have quietly hoped for, ambitious, character-driven, and layered with complexity, not just in its tombs, but in its morality and its mythology. If the rumors are right, Lara is heading into her greatest adventure yet, and it might be one we never saw coming, and that's the thing. There's a lot to be excited about with this next Tomb Raider, but there's also a reason to stay cautiously optimistic. Crystal Dynamics is a talented studio, no question, but their track record hasn't been spotless. They've delivered some incredible work, especially with the first two games of the Survivor trilogy, but they've also had moments where the vision didn't quite land. Marvel's Avengers is the biggest example, a game packed with potential that ended up being dragged down by live service decisions and a lack of direction. It doesn't define the studio, but it's a reminder that ambition alone isn't enough. That's why this shift back to a focused, single-player, character-driven Tomb Raider matters so much. It feels like Crystal Dynamics returning to what they do best: grounded exploration, sharp storytelling, and a heroine that stands on her own without being buried under systems nobody asked for. And with Amazon Games backing the project instead of trying to control it, the team seems to have more freedom to actually build the game they want instead of chasing trends. Caution makes sense. Leaks of layoffs earlier this year are concerning. Internal restructuring can change priorities, slow down development, and affect morale. And there's the bigger question: can they deliver an open world that feels meaningful, not just wide? Can they make ally systems and rival raider factions feel exciting instead of distracting? Can the story avoid the predictable ancient doomsday artifact structure and actually give Lara depth now that she's supposedly at her prime? What gives this project hope is how grounded the rumored direction feels: a modern Tomb Raider that finally lets Lara be an expert explorer instead of a traumatized beginner, a world inspired by real history, real mythology, real culture, a storyline that pits her against rivals instead of faceless mercenary armies, and a world that isn't just big but dangerous, mysterious, and actually worth exploring. The fact that this version of the game replaced the earlier multiplayer-heavy concept says a lot. They saw what wasn't working, they pivoted, they made the tough call, and honestly, that alone might be the best sign yet, because when a studio is honest enough to cut features that will drag the game down, that usually means the people inside genuinely care about the final product. And that's the energy you can feel around these leaks, a sense that Crystal Dynamics wants to get this right, not just ship something trendy. Lara Croft doesn't need live service systems, she doesn't need co-op mechanics forced into her story, she doesn't need a crew of Fortnite-style rivals popping up every mission. She needs what made her iconic in the first place: danger, discovery, intelligence, and a sense of awe. If this really does get revealed at the Game Awards on December 11th, and if the release window of early 2026 holds, this could be the start of a true comeback for Lara Croft. The seasoned Explorer fans have been waiting years to see again. A modern Lara built with modern technology, modern storytelling, and a renewed sense of identity. And after everything this franchise has been through, the highs, the lows, the weird experiments, the rumors of direction changes, that's worth paying attention to. If Crystal Dynamics sticks the landing, this could be the Tomb Raider game people talk about for years. Like the video right now for more content on this new Tomb Raider game.